Alright guys, well I'm excited to teach a new technique to you. It's going to be a technique that's going to allow us to remove the background from our video. And so what I want you to do is you're going to record yourself in front of the green screen. And I want you just to kind of think about how you're going to move. I want you to try to do something so that you interact with the background. What I mean by that is maybe you're going to snap, clap your hands, do something that makes it look like, as we remove the background, we can add other pieces in that's going to allow us to create a kind of a neat effect. So I'll show you what I did. I opened up Photo Booth on mine, and this was the video that I made. So I just snapped my one hand, snapped my other, then I made it look like I threw something up in the air. Once you've got an idea for yours, you're going to go ahead and film that, and then you're going to take your video from Photo Booth, and just make sure that over here in After Effects you're on the project panel. And if you have that on the project panel, you can drag your video right into After Effects, drop it on there, and then down here, this is the Create a New Composition button. And if you take that video clip and just drag it down to the Create a New Composition, which is kind of like this little movie reel, it's going to create the composition in the right time. All right, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to try to get rid of this background so that we can add a new, different background on there, but keep ourselves in there. So I'm going to go up, come up to Effect, and I'm going to put Keen. And Keen is a technique that will remove the background, and this one that we're going to use is called Key Light. And when I click on Key Light, it opens up this new effect panel over here, and you'll see here it says screen color, and I have this little eyedropper, and the eyedropper is going to allow me to select the color that I want to get rid of. So I'm going to click on my green, and it does a pretty good job, but I don't really know how good of a job it did because basically I'm just seeing kind of a black gray background. So over here where it says view, if you click on that and you select screen matte, it's going to turn us into just basically a black and white image of what we have. Anything that's white means that it is opaque, means you can't see through it. And anything that's completely black means it's completely transparent. And you can tell that this is not really completely black. It's got a lot of gray and white and things in it. So we're going to want to clean this up just a little bit. So the first thing that I want to do over here, you see it says screen gain. I want to increase my amount of screen gain. I'm going to try going to 110, and you can see as soon as I did that, it got a lot more black in this area here, which means that this section is now much more transparent. Over here, though, I still have kind of a section that's a little bit gray, so I'm going to try changing the screen balance. I'm just going to try 85 at first. And you see it did clean that up a little bit, but it also started to introduce some black in here. So maybe I'm not going to make that so high. Maybe I'm going to drop that back down a little bit so that it doesn't take out the white spots in there. These numbers are going to be a little bit variable based on your video, so I'm giving you some estimates on mine, but you may have to change it to something different on yours. That's okay. I've still got some over here that I want to try to get rid of. So I'm going to come underneath this arrow, drop down arrow for a screen matte. And I'm going to try where it says clip black. And I'm going to try changing this. I'm going to change this to 10. And when I do that, you can see that now pretty much got rid of everything. Sometimes when you do that, it may introduce a little bit more in here. So you may have to play with this. You could drop this clip white. Didn't really make much of a difference on mine. Mine was already pretty good, but if you decide that it needs a little bit more work, dropping the clip white, down to 85 might be helpful for that. The clip rollback also we could do. That kind of sharpens it a little bit, and I'm gonna put 1 there. A couple other things you can do if we come back to our final result and look at it, we now see that we've done a pretty good job of removing the background from that. I can look at a couple other things here. I can look at the screen shrink and grow, And if you just scrub that, you can see that, it kind of shrinks and grows the background, so you can actually go into the negatives as well. Um, I think I'm gonna actually do that. I'm gonna take this down to maybe -1, just to kind of get a little bit of that like glow around the edge off of there that was there. And the other thing is the screen D-spot black. If I go back and look at my screen mat, if you have any black spots in here, you could change that. I don't right now, but if you put it, up to like 4, or go down to -4, or something like that. If you need to do that, you can change that. But I think right now mine looks pretty good. All right, so the next thing that I want to do then, I want to make sure that I deselect my video by just clicking off of it anywhere, clicking down here, clicking off to the side. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually double click on the rectangle tool up here. And when I do that, it puts a rectangle over top of me. If I change the order of the layers by just taking that rectangle and dragging it down, then you'll see it puts that rectangle behind me. And I think I'm going to just change the color here to kind of a blue, something like that. Okay. All right, again, I want to deselect that. And what I want to do with this now is I want to make it look like when I snap my fingers that maybe there's going to be some like lines that come up here that are going to look like I snapped and then it started moving. So as soon as I can see my finger moving, I'm going to actually go back 1 frame from that. And I'm just going to take my rectangle tool. I'm just going to draw a little rectangle here. This one I think I am going to make all white. And if I hit R on my keyboard, I can hit the rotation. But before I do that, I see my anchor points over here. And I don't want my anchor point there. So I'm going to go up to Layer, Transform, Center Anchor Point, and Layer Content. That centers it there so that I can just take this and I'm going to just rotate this just a little bit like that. All right, now what I want to do then, I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to call it snap. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. And I can either come up and hit Edit, Duplicate, or on my keyboard I can just hit Command D. And I'm going to do that so that I get 4 different layers. And I'm going to just kind of drag these off here so that they kind of go around my hand. And what I want to do with that then is I'm going to hit R on my keyboard again, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate them so that they each have a little bit of a different angle. And something like, maybe like that. Maybe align them, oops. Maybe align these just a little bit better. Move that one again, that second one, and put that, oops, put it like that. Okay, now what I want to do with these then, I'm going to hit Snap 4, and I'm going to hit Shift and click on Snap, the first snap, so that it selects all of them. And this time I'm going to hit S on my keyboard, and it's going to bring up the scale. And I'm actually going to drop these all down to 0% and set my keyframe there. Underneath my preview panel on the side, I'm going to hit the next frame, and I'm going to go forward 1 frame, and I'm going to go ahead and bring these up to 100%. When I bring them up to 100%, they're going to move up right away, so it looks like they automatically appear right as my finger's moving. And I'm going to just move 5 frames ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say. Over here then, this little diamond shape here is another way that I can add keyframes to that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the keyframe button there. And that adds another keyframe at 100%, so it will stay at 100% that whole time. And then I'm going to go 1 more frame, and I'm going to bring this down to 0% so that they all go away. So it should look like this then. So I play it, and as I snap, boom, it looks like these little dashes came on right as I snapped. All right, now I did it twice, so I snapped 2 times. Now, so I can do something where I'm gonna just duplicate all of those. And what I'm gonna do then is, because basically I need to do the same thing twice, I'm gonna just drag these over here. And on the keyboard, I'm gonna hit scale, and I'm gonna take the scale off of those, so that when I come over here, I can get them lined up right as I'm about to snap on this side. And that looks pretty good right there. And I'm going to set my keyframe for each of those to 0%. I'm going to set my keyframe there. I'm going to move ahead 1 frame, bring it up to 100% for 5 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then hit my add keyframe button. Go 1 more frame and bring it down to 0. All right, so now let's take a look at what we got, and snap, and all right, that's looking pretty good. And then the last thing is that I kind of took my hands and I kind of threw something up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make, right as I get to that point there, I'm going to click off of those so that these aren't selected, and I'm going to go ahead and just make my name appear right here above my head. So I'll put my name in here. That's a pretty good position. Move it over just a little bit. And I'm going to start in my name, and I'm going to bring the scale to 0, and I'm going to set the keyframe there, and I'm also going to set the position keyframe. And then as I kind of make my hands go out, I'm going to bring the scale up. Now I don't want the anchor point there, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Layer, Transform, Center Anchor Point. And I want it to, let's see, to keep scaling, get pretty big. And I also want to change the position so that it goes like up here. So it should kind of have this look where it makes it look like I'm kind of throwing my name out. All right. So that's the goal. That's what I want you to try to do, is to create a little bit of a animation where you're removing the background and then adding some other things into it to create a video with just you kind of centered in there, and then adding some other things into the background. All right.